You get ready to hear me. I'm sorry. So here we go. There we go. Now you can hear me. Now, technical difficulties, we take that difficulty, miscommunication demon, we rebuke you, we bind you up, we send you out of the studio right now. Going to continue this show. Thank you for staying tuned. But like I was saying, you didn't really miss much. I was just explaining about the play like I do every week. So that's all you missed basically. But like I said, the play is May the 5th. So he didn't want you to hear that, but I want to repeat it. The play is May the 5th, giving the parents a standing ovation, written by Dr. Blake. That's right, your girl is in the play. Like I said, I'm doing all sorts of cameos in and out of different scenes, so you got to stay tuned. Its general admissions is $25. It's at the Bowie Fine Arts Theater in Bowie by Bowie University, and that's Upper Marlboro, I believe, Maryland. Also, today they had their Friends and Family Day out there at the Bowie food court mall out there. So I didn't get the chance to attend that. I was trying to get prepared for you guys here. But if you go on Facebook, if you go on Giving Our Parents Standing Ovation Facebook page, you'll see all the highlights from their appearance on CTV on Wednesday. Their interview at Howard University. Yeah, this play is not just no joke, y'all. This thing explains the situation of this family going through this process, which I'm a living witness of this, and a lot of us are, about this dementia and Alzheimer's, and it's been therapeutic just being a part of this project with Dr. Blake, and I'm glad that I was granted the opportunity. And she had asked me to film in a little private concession film or live taping saying why I was chosen to do this project. So now, Dr. Blake, if you're tuning in after the Friends and Family Day out there, Bowie, here's my confession of why I'm blessed and grateful that you have given me the opportunity to be in this project. First of all, like I said, I'm a living witness of this, and we may not know where God steer us. And I got approached by this project through my talent agency, which is 99. I never heard, they sent me the information. I went on to my talent agency, my app, and I applied for it. I sent my talent resume over to the project manager at the time, who was Bruce. I'm sorry, Bruce, I don't know your last name, and then it's just so crazy how everything went full circle. I didn't even know the play was about, I thought it was just a gospel play about appreciating your parents. Not knowing, when I got in there and started reading the script, and when I sat down, first she had me reading for Mama Veen. Then she would let me read for nothing else. She said, oh, that's it, you got it. You Mama Veen's understudy. So I was reading for Mama Veen. Then I went from being the Mama Veen understudy, which I still / Mama Veen's understudy now. But then I went from doing a little narration in the play as well as singing in the play, as well as playing in the background as one of the extras in the play. So it started out, like I said, as a sprinkle of dust. And now it's just like, I thought it was dust, but it's glittering now, looking like it's turning to gold. So that's how I feel, Dr. Blake, and I truly feel honored. And I'm so humbled that I'm able to get the therapy that I need, that you allow me to get every week when I came to rehearsal. You allow me to get extra therapy, whether you know it or not. When I rehearse with you guys and your cast members and your director and your producers and your musicians and everyone, it's been therapy for me. Because, I mean, you can't get it all in that 1 hour that you pay for at the doctor's office. So it really has been therapeutic for me, and it's also have been informative for me. And it also has been giving me different avenues, but also been connecting me to some surrounding avenues that also God has been bringing into this circle of things. So I just want to thank you again for the opportunity and you giving me a chance to express myself and my talents in your project. So people, tune in. Dr. Blake's play, giving parents standing ovation May the 5th. 2 shows, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. at the Bowie State Fine Arts Theater. That's on the play. Now, another thing is on the music. You know, I always promote music for the undiscovered, that you can always go on Spotify, and which is the undiscovered I promote myself. Hey, I have to do it if nobody else is going to do it, right? And that you can find Thinking of You, Back When, and Boss Hard on Spotify, as well as Katewa Shimigami, who's was sitting in the background. You can find his music as well on Spotify, YouTube, and he got it on another site. But yeah, look out for those songs, especially the song that was created by Katewa Shimigami, as well as here's Marcus. He's just joining us. Yay! So we get ready to get you this credit and this house prep course going on. The recap of that, y'all, is coming right up for you. I was just trying to get you updated of everything that's going on with your girl, so you can stay tuned. And the credit and the housing course prep will continue. There's another segment which will be after next week, because like I said, next week is the play, so we won't be here next Saturday. We'll be here the following Saturday, which will be the 12th. May the 12th, we'll be back. So I'm going to go into a little music break, and then we're going to get you ready for Vanetta Adams and Mr. Marcus Shop.
Fast 60 SLs was cruising the streets, man. Damn, I got my Morris Brown, Sergio Bikini back then, we holding it down. Oh, damn, I got my Morris Brown, Sergio Bikini back then, we holding it down. Oh boy, I'm on my 1300, on yourself one in the bag, Playboy young stunt. Let's take it back to the 300Es, the 190 Diesels, the 300Zs. When the games was pushing them Jeep Cherokees, Fast 60 SLs was cruising the streets. Man, oh man, the big fella love DC. Your rocket man is fit, jumping out them Audis. You get a working 50, then you put that flip on it. Hips again pushing cheddars with the flat kids on it. Let's take it back, the guys and dolls, where you will lose 20 stacks in the gambling hole. TikTok players, racket and jaws, princess and prince hoodies up in treasure trove, you know? Yep, cause I'm switching them lanes, time to jump in the whip and head straight down Haynes. It's time to drop the top and cruise the scene, homie, and Acosta and Pop. Damn, I got my Morris Brown, Sergio Bikini back then, we holding it down. I'm off my 1300, on yourself one in the bag, Playboy young stunt. The east side of chapter 3 where the fellas brought the bar. Girls got the head done of Sandra and Star. When ladies rock ACL and MCM, and the fellas rock Versace and Super Tim. Can't forget Iceberg, Gucci and Elise, Nautica, Polo, and Lacoste. Used jeans, fat belts, and the EK glasses. Going to Zotan to got the latest fashion. Talking about when dudes used to rock temper tapers. When the city was flooded with all that paper, you had Cornell and Ray, Beanie and Freight, and a lot of other cats eating back in the day, you know? Yep, cause I'm switching them lanes. Time to jump in the whip and head straight down Haynes. It's time to drop the top and cruise the scene, homie, and Acosta and Pop. Damn, I got my Morris Brown, Sergio Bikini back then, we holding it down. I'm off my 1300, on yourself one in the bag, Playboy young stunt. In my era, that's where it brought the change. Girls got their nails done with their boyfriend's names. No faces was EVs, tapes, no CDs. Everybody had a splash party tape of RE. Nike boots were Timbs and Polo boots, and all the dudes was pushing them nice sack boots. Girls rocking drop socks over their jeans. The hair in a ponytail with big ass bangs. Duck honey sonic, fresh eat tonic, fresh pair of Sauconys and a black bomber. Voodoo's and new dudes and a 2-liter. 1,000 rubber bands around my brand new people. And we can talk about Mr. G snapping them flicks and stuff out. JY beating on them games. Hey, stinging Yeehaw, baby, do you know what time it is? Yeehaw. Oh boy. Monumental Production. The 18. Gangsta Chronicles, baby.
I was gonna reiterate.
I'm taking it right back, baby, with this one. Hey, they home run with this one, baby. When the Nationals was here the first time.
Yeah, I think maybe just going over to the
Girl, come with the tech up in here. Alrighty, you girl just did that. Alrighty, we're back. Thank you. Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. Don't sleep. We're back with Marcus Shop and Vanetta Adams. They're gonna come in. I told you they'll be back with the information on prepping you. And you call it the, I forgot, it's called the
Bounce
back FICO.
Which is really just to get your FICO score back up.
Okay, back up. Okay, that's Bounce Back FICO to get your FICO scores back up. And we're gonna start out with Mr. Marcus Sharp, and from Ulterior Homes and Loans, is he's gonna go in with you on some very important phases of bouncing back. So, Mr. Sharp.
So, well, could we have them text questions? Maybe since we're not going to see it, can we have them text questions into our
We
phone?
won't be able to see them because I didn't log in with the pass. So,
But can they text our number?
if you want to give that number out, the
Yeah,
two
that's fine.
the 240.
240-417
Okay.
4030.
Okay.
If you have any questions, you can text there 240-417 4030.
Okay. I think you need to come up a little louder, Vanetta. Your mic. She's white. Yeah. Hers is. Okay. Now check again. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Check again. Oh, okay.
Say it again.
Okay, you're good.
Okay.
Okay, you're good.
Good.
All right. Everybody's good.
All right. Awesome.
Oh, I had just muted it, so you can take it off mute if you want to stop it. How you want to do it? Because that's feedback. Yeah, I don't know where it is. But thank you for bearing with us, and we're gonna get into that bounce back. And like I told you, this is a very important step for you guys that wants to go towards and home purchasing. You need to really be able to understand the process, because it's truly a process, right, Mr. Sharp?
It definitely is. It definitely is extremely important. Your credit score is extremely important, not just for buying a home, but for, I mean, you can have jobs where they ask you, you know, they'll go and pull your credit, so I'll check for that, especially the local government jobs. They want to make sure that you don't have too much derogatory credit, because that can affect like how you work. There are people, if you have bad credit, you're more likely to, like, you might have issues with money, so you might have problems like that, and you might tend to steal. That's kind of one of the things they look at, and that's why they do it. You have security clearances. They're going to look at those kind of things, and then also, of course, buying cars, your interest rates on your credit card. So there's a lot more just a mortgage aspect of it. That's the part that we work on. But in general, credit's very important, like in your overall life. So one of the things we want to cover this week, are we going to talk about bankruptcies, foreclosures, and short sales. But I did want to go back and reiterate some of the things from the last time we were here. Just some of like the basic things that you really want to start out with, and things that you can look at yourself. We don't necessarily use online credit services like Credit Karma. We don't actually use those to qualify people. We can't use that, but it is somewhere where you can go and you can look and you can start looking over it, and you can kind of get an understanding of where you are exactly. So one of the most important things I would have to say is late payments. It sounds so simple. Like, of course, it's going to affect your credit, but for me, as far as helping folks repair their credit, it's the hardest thing for me to do as far as repairing it. It's the hardest part because if you definitely miss that payment, I can't go back and tell them, please take this off. You can actually get leniency from some credit card companies or your mortgage company or the car company that you're working with as far as financing. You can go back and get some of those things removed, but that's going to be the hardest thing, and it accounts for 35% of your overall score. So if you're late on these payments, it's really going to affect your score. So that's one of the main things I like to tell folks is that's the basics. Like, starting with the basics, just make sure that you pay things on time, and then there's your credit utilization. You want to keep that under, usually I say 20%. I was reading something earlier that said 25, but I would say keep it around 20 or under if you possibly can. They just want to see that you have some credit and hopefully you're on time with it. Those are the main two things I kind of wanted to put out there. That's what I tend to see a lot of is overutilization of credit. And if you overutilize it, it's really easy to get it down because all you have to do is pay it. You know, you can pay off. I mean, you know, if your card's at 50% of what you're supposed to have on there, you can pay it down 25%. That's usually not an issue. Late payments, though, are a problem. So that's one of the things I kind of wanted to cover those two because they're really important. Also, I'll go back over collections. If you have collections, you really want to be able to talk to the companies and see what they can do to work with you to get the collections off. Typically, they call it pay by deletion. And so you would contact the collections company and you would say pretty much, I'll pay you this amount, but I want to delete it from my credit. So that's something that you want to keep in mind as far as, you know, if you're working with collections. But those were three things I wanted to cover from the last time we were here. But as far as buying a home, if you've had a bankruptcy, a foreclosure, a short sale, it's still possible for you to buy. A lot of folks think that it's going to be extremely hard for them to be able to purchase. For our company personally, we do have loans where you can be a day out of foreclosure, bankruptcy, or short sale, and we can still approve you for a home. It's an investor loan that we have, so it is a little bit different than the usual loans that you would go through. But as far as qualifying for what we call a qualified mortgage is what pretty much it's deemed by the government to be a pretty, like, it's well-rounded. You fit certain guidelines that make it qualified. So to qualify for one of those, you do have to wait. For bankruptcy, it's going to be 2 years. Foreclosures, this is actually for FHA loans. Bankruptcies are 2 years, foreclosures 2 years, short sales are 2 years. But for a conventional loan, which a lot of people want to use conventional loans after they've had something like one of these events, it's going to be 2 years for foreclosures and short sales, and bankruptcies are 2 years. But it depends on what happens after the bankruptcy. If you had a bankruptcy, let's say in 2014. Or let's say 2015, but since then you've had derogatory credit since, then they're going to have issues as far as they're not going to want to qualify you because it looks like you just filed bankruptcy and now you're coming back and you're still having late payments. You've still got new collections. You've got this stuff that happened afterwards. So that would be bankruptcy. That's the only thing that's a little bit different is all of them are 2 years for both FHAs and conventionals, but with the bankruptcy it can be longer for a conventional loan.
So question.
Yes.
So what does your credit report look like when you have filed bankruptcy? Do they just take everything off, like erase everything off, or is your bad credit still on there and it just says you filed bankruptcy? Like, how does it read?
Well, typically at the bottom of the report, excuse me, at the bottom of the report there'll be a line that'll say Chapter 7 bankruptcy. It'll say the county that was in, when it was filed, and if it has been released. If you're in the middle of working on it, it'll have either filed, released, or paid. And so we have to actually go from the date that it's actually released. So you could have actually been in bankruptcy court. They said it was completed on, let's say in January, but they don't actually release it until March. We have to go with that March date. So
I thought, and then I also thought that it can't be really cleared until you get the the letter of accreditation. I thought that's the only way you finally through the process when you get the letter of accreditation that's saying that you cleared and what you cleared up.
Yeah, that's going to be about the same time because it's basically going to be a point where it's filed at the courthouse and it's actually been released, and so that it's going to go off the date basically it was filed in the actual court. So
Okay.
that's gonna probably be the same date they're gonna issue a letter like that.
Okay,
So same time.
okay,
Yep.
right.
But then also, well, like as far as the bankruptcy goes, they're gonna have what we call trade lines. It's basically what you have as far as open credit or closed credit or anything you've had in over the last 7 years. We call it a trade line, and there are going to be some that might say that it's wrapped up in the bankruptcy. A lot of times with bankruptcies and foreclosures or homes you sold, a lot of times they have issues as far as reporting it properly. Like, some creditors may have tried to wrap them up in the bankruptcy, but they fought it and they weren't put in the bankruptcy. So that may still be on your report, and it may say like bankruptcy, but it may not have been wrapped up in it, or it could have been wrapped up in it, but it's still showing up on your report. But these are the kind of things that you kind of want to look at. That's one of the reasons why you have the option of going online and looking at your report. You want to, at least once a year, you can do that. And you want to be able to go and look and see like what kind of things they have on there, especially something dealing with a bankruptcy. Actually, I do have good news. I was reading this earlier this week that with judgments, they're actually going to take judgments off of credit reports starting July 1st. Any judgment that you have will not be included in your credit report anymore. Or not necessarily all of it. It's like the problem is
it various types of judgments, or it's just
it's gonna be all tax liens and all judgments because of the way that they're reported. They don't put enough information, and like they have to everything has a there's a thing called we call it FCRA, it's FCRA, we call it FCRA. It's a Fair Credit Reporting Act, where they have to report every single thing in your credit 100% accurately. It's got to be reported, and if it's not, then you can go back and you can contact the credit bureaus, and they'll take it off after about 30 days. They should take it off for you. But that's really big for as far as judgments and liens go. It's going to help a lot of folks as far as credit score, most likely, just having that trade line taken off. But there's still going to be issues as far as having to pay those things back. So don't think just because it's off your credit report that you don't have to deal with it anymore.
Right.
But as far as on July 1st, that'll be coming off completely. I've actually a few people I'm working with right now where that coming off is going to boost their credit score 20 points just because it's not going to show up anymore. Yep.
So how are you going to deal with the bankruptcy? You still do a simulator? Like, how do you factor that in? Because we're not going to be disputing things. You're actually laying out a plan, a strategy.
Yep.
So how does the system factor in the bankruptcy or the foreclosure or short sale?
Well, the main thing, is, especially as far as now the foreclosures and short sales, they show up as like they're basically going to be old mortgages, and it's going to be from the time that you stop paying that mortgage for. This is for the bank for the short sales and foreclosures. From the time you finish your last payment on the mortgage or the time that was sold, it's going to show as a foreclosure. There's really not too much that we can do about those. Like as far as getting it off of the report, there's not very much that we can do. Like I say, unless they reported it, unless they misreported it, then you can go back and look at that. But there are mistakes they can make. Maybe when you made your last payment, how much your payment was, what was left on the amount as far as a foreclosure. All that kind of stuff can kind of be factored in, and you might be able to get it off with that. But as far as the bankruptcy, the main thing that's way we factor in, let's say that you have one that's been filed, but it hasn't been released or paid. So what I can do as far as a simulation for that is I can go in, but let's say it says filed, but it's not released yet. I can go in and see what happens after we paid it. So what happens when we change it to paid? It could boost your credit score. Sometimes it stays the same. It really depends on the person and trade lines they have, their current credit. It really depends on what's going to happen at that point. Or we can go in and maybe it's been released and I can put a release on there.
And just like he said, folks, I'm sorry, brother. Just like he said, folks, if you feel some things that are derogatory on your report, there is an entity called Fair Credit Report Act. And that's where you go if you feel some things that have not been fairly taken off and you dealt with them and these people are still leaving this information on your report. These are the people. This is where you go to argue that issue. So that's called a Fair Credit Report Act, FICRA. So he just gave you some information. So those, because I know how that is. You have worked with them. Y'all been corresponding back and forth. You got your email proof. You got your receipt proof. But a lot of times that's not enough. Sometimes you have to go push the boundaries sometimes, with certain things. So that's FICRA if you need that extra support in that area, people. So go ahead.
And actually, who you want to report it to, FICRA is actually the name of the law.
The law. That's the law.
That's the law. Yep. And so you actually want to report it to either with the 3 credit bureaus. or you want to report it to the Federal Trade Commission, and you have to like basically have like a log or something that gives you can give you an outline saying this is where they misreported, and you can show that to them. And what they do is they go in and basically they put a dispute on it, and it can't go over 30 days. Okay. So but you have to report directly to them. Okay,
so that's the crime. That's the name of the law, FICRA, and it's the Fair Credit Report app, and you can go to the Trade Commission to report it, or you can report it to either of the 3 credit bureaus. So it's called FICRA is the law. So remember that.
So let me ask, do you know this? Who owns the credit bureaus? Do the banks own them, or in the retailers, the merchants?
Honestly, to tell you the truth, I have never looked that up. That is a great question.
You.
That's worth looking up.
Well, we'll know that next time.
Yeah.
But I believe it's all tied in with the Federal Reserve. Anything over 10,000 is, like I said, is automatic reported, right? They increased that? Anything over $10,000, that's when you're going to be tagged in and flagged to be watched.
Oh, you mean like as far as cash goes? When you
as far as any type of fund.
Transaction.
Right. So
sometimes it's just really difficult to get the bureaus to do something. And now they're selling all these products and things like that. So I'm just wondering, is it by the people for the people, or
I believe it's not for the people, and then I believe it's still federally reserved. So and that
it just takes too long. It's like once your stuff get on there, it's like a prison.
It takes a lot. Yeah, it takes a lot to get it off.
It takes a lot to get it off.
I do know one of the things that actually does bother me about it is that these people actually. They have an entire like mathematical system on how they judge your credit. All 3 bureaus: Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. They have like a mathematical system, and like we have the tools to be able to go in and work on people's credit, and we have that, and it's based off of the mathematical calculation they do to report your credit. But I'm like, I don't understand why they don't put that in people's hands, like in individuals' hands, where they could go and be able to see exactly what they could do personally, but they won't do that because I don't know if it's something to look up though. It's something to really look up.
It's like an algorithm, right?
Yeah.
Facebook or Google
just like all the other hidden secrets they kept from us. That's just another. That's the mathematical side of it.
That's too much knowledge.
Yeah, it's
and
too
then
much.
We have to pay to get the information.
Right. And it's not trusted in everybody's hands. So, because some people can't handle certain amount of knowledge, they just can't, so that's that. So that was on the bankruptcy, and now we're talking more about going into the foreclosure and the short sales, right?
Yes. So let me give a definition of short sale from the real estate, I guess, or the banking point. The short sale is when the value of your home is different, most times more than what's owed. And so the value is going to be less than what you owe to the bank or to the investor. So you end up petitioning to that lien holder to allow you to short sale or sell your home short of that amount, closer to the value. So in real estate, you put your home on the market with an agent, and we bring an offer to you. You accept it as the seller, but then the bank has the right to do the negotiating after that. And you have to provide all types of documentation, keep them updated in order for that bank lien holder to approve the short sale. And there could be other things on there, such as maybe you didn't cover your HOA. That would be a judgment on there as well. Could be attorney fees, things like that that are associated with the property.
Tax lien, you got a tax lien or something.
And if there's a second lien holder on there, maybe you did like a line of credit, then that second has to agree to sell short as well. And most of the time it's about like up to $8,000 that they would accept on that payment and wipe the rest away.
So when you say short sale, a person would think that's taking sort of a kind of a loss in when you purchased originally the home.
So you're asking the bank or the lien holder of that note to take the loss, to let you sell it short of what you owe.
Oh, okay.
So say like you're the bank, you sell me a house for $1 million. but now the value has gone down to say 500,000. So then I'm going back to you and say, I know I owe you $1 million for this home, but it's not worth that.
Anymore,
I want to be able
right.
to sell it, move on. So allow me to sell it for 500,000, and you wipe away the rest.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
the rest, they do have the right to also put it back on your taxes and things. So you may pay tax on that difference.
Oh, okay, okay. And what does, but doesn't the, because when I was, like I said, I went through the experience of home buying, so I know just a little teeny bit. So that's when, doesn't if it's insured by FHA or Fannie Mae, don't they come in and take up some of the cost? It's a certain amount of monies that these banks or these lenders can come after you for after a certain amount, whatever the loan was assured after. Because I thought it was like, if it was, say the house was worth $250,000 and it's insured. But if the house if the value of the home had went down to under that to $70-something thousand, then how does the insurance?
You get a 1099.
Right. Okay. I thought something like that.
Yeah, you
okay.
get a 1099, but the insurance is already cashed in by the lien holder.
Oh, okay.
So they do.
They already
essentially
got
get
theirs.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
But why not be able to get a little bit more?
Right. So I just wanted to understand that part of the short sale, because I know it's some type of loss that you do incorporate when you go that route.
And then the process of the foreclosure and short sale can be very lengthy, and so the bank has to take care of it and pay for people to take care of it if it's vacant, so that they incur that cost of maintaining the home.
Oh, the
each
maintenance,
month.
right? Okay, the upkeep.
They pay a property preservation company to come out and clean it, keep the grass cut, things like that, and they have to pay that every month. So they do incur more in fees.
Okay, and does that come out on the back end of the person that's doing the short sale, or it comes out?
They don't charge the homeowner at all. That's just what they have, the additional cost they have, even when they're taking a loss of the value.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty. So I think you said you wanted to go into the foreclosure part of it.
Well, as far as from
how it's affecting credit.
How it's affecting your credit? Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, that's going to stay on your credit for 7 years, similar to the bankruptcy can be up to 10, but foreclosure and short sales are going to stay on there for 7 for the most part. Bankruptcies are for 10, sorry. But as far as foreclosures, for us, as far as getting them off, like I said, there's not too much that we can do. After that foreclosure happens, it's going to be a lot tougher for us to get it off unless they report it wrong. We can see what happens. I can do something where I delete it and see what happens when we take it off and what it'll do to your credit score. But I can't actually, there's not much I can do after you've been through that process and, foreclosure happened. There's not much I can do about it as far as, really, let's say for a regular credit card, I can do something where maybe I say that it was paid as agreed, where instead of maybe late payments you had, I can fix that. But something like a foreclosure, which, with something with a foreclosure, I can't go back and say that you missed those payments because most likely they reported it. Yeah, it's already reported. So there's not much I can do about it there, but that's one of those things where if it's on your credit, we can work with everything else and then give you an idea of where we'll be by the time that's complete, where we'll be and what we can do with your credit score for you to be able to buy. But all these things, bankruptcy, foreclosure, and short sale, don't let them discourage you from wanting to purchase. They're not, for the most part, they're 2 years. That's not really that long, and it gives you a chance to get back on your feet after you had an event like that, So, and also if you've had one, don't let it discourage you from wanting to own a home again. You could have been in a bad loan product. You could have been in one of those, when they had the balloon loans, or one of those, not a non-qualified, like I was talking about qualified mortgages earlier. You could have been in one of the non-qualified mortgages where, you might have a balloon payment or a bank statement program with higher interest rates, all those kind of things. So don't let it discourage you. You can always work those things out and get it fixed and wind up in a qualified mortgage. You can get in those kind of products. You just got to talk to somebody and let them guide you on the way to be able to do it, to make it so that you can get into those kind of programs.
Okay, Brother Lance, you got any questions or anything you want to say on what you?
I was just thinking when you were saying about paying your credit on time. A lot of times, people not making that much money. it's just a good thing where they can have it set up where the money comes straight out their check to the bank.
I don't think
that bad.
I don't think you can do it straight out of your check, but you can do it straight out of your bank account. So you can do it like straight out of your account and just set it up so that, I mean, try to set the days up where maybe it's the day that your check goes in. If you have direct deposit or you put your check in, maybe you set it up for the day after that goes in so that you can, you know, get a consistency on your bills coming out at the same time and making sure that you have money in there so it's not like, you know, I mean, because you can still have like a direct debit from your account, like let's say for a credit card. But if you don't have money in there, you know, they might still pull the money out. I mean, you know, the bill is paid, but then you wind up with like the $25, $27 overdraft fee or something like that. So you know, so you just want to, honestly,
some people are just not good with, you know, paying, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know.
So how many credit cards
Yeah,
was
well,
they have?
They have good
Yeah.
intentions,
I mean,
right?
I'm
and then
one of
when
those-
life hit it, and they get the paying bill, looking at that money, you know.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I even see at church right now, they you can dial a number
Yeah.
and text it, and right there, and they take it right out your account.
You go right to
like,
the church.
Like pay,
Oh wow.
The cash out.
Yeah, the tithe, they pay your tithe, so
Yeah, I mean, technology is getting creative to get your money, to keep your money, and to make sure you don't get your money. I mean, that's just seems to me how it's set up in those three entities.
And I'm torn between that because there is scripture that doesn't want us to go into debt. So if you're doing your church tithes and offerings like that, you're incurring an additional cost to process it, and so those fees add up.
Yes, they
Because
do.
everything's
yeah,
a
but
fee.
I mean, you don't even want to go down there, vote. You know, I don't about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave that alone right there.
That's
You know
a
that's a whole other show by itself.
Well, look, we have a text question. Is there a rapid way to boost your FICO score without using a credit repair agency? And I think that's for you, Marcus.
Well, you know, there are ways. I mean, you know, you would have to probably study it a lot and see exactly what you would need to do. What I get a lot of is I get a lot of folks that they tell me, oh, I've been working on it, I'm repairing it, but they go in the wrong areas. They do it in the wrong areas, things that they don't need to pay off. There are collections you can have on your credit that you don't need to pay off because, like, let's say it's $200.
Activate them, make them live.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can. You know, you contact those companies, and if they find out you're trying to fix your credit, typically someone's trying to fix their credit because they're trying to buy a house, they're trying to buy a car, they're trying to do something like that. So they're going to see, okay, so this person's trying to do something with their credit now. Now we're going to start coming after them about it. But then also, sometimes like a $200, $300 credit collections. You may not need to pay those. They may not affect your score at all. You might think you need to pay that collection because it's showing up on Credit Karma or something, but you may not need to pay that. You could pay it. Your score could be, let's say, 562, and you pay that collections, and your score, I do this all the time where I see people's scores stay at 562. Like, you know, it would stay at that 562. It doesn't move. So
Even after they made the pay, even if they cleared the debt, right?
Even if they,
Maybe take it lower
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's possible to do it on your own. I mean, but it is pretty good to go and actually to really like seek some help from someone. Now, and this is something I was reading earlier, and I 100% agree with it, is that a lot of credit repair companies, they overcharge you and they don't do what they're supposed to do. So you got to be very careful who you go after as far as trying to get a credit repair company. And
So what
yeah.
should we look for? Because basically you're saying don't pull your own teeth. So what do we look for?
I would look for a reputable company. Go for like your Better Business Bureau, where they're going to have high ratings on these companies.
Right.
And to be honest, it's a really tough question because some of these places, you never know who's just posting those reviews for them to boost their scores or, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I would check the Better Business Bureau to make sure that you don't find anything like a lot of, you know, negative comments or anything on there. There's another thing called Rip-Off Report. I can tell you right now for a fact that the larger companies that you see on television a lot of the time, I would not use those companies like Lexington Law. I mean, those folks, I'm telling you, I do not know how many people in the last
Allegedly.
what's that?
We gotta say allegedly. Yeah.
they've helped a lot of people that I've worked with lately.
I want to say this though, like collection agencies and banks and all that. I've been in my house about 22 years or so, and when I got in there, I was paying like one fee, then it went up, and then on the third time stopped. I think I was paying back then with like $1,300, right? I had to split for you. So I was younger at the time, and I let some people, get in my ear about we can refinance. Everybody was doing it and this and that, and I didn't really want to do it, right? So I ended up doing it, and so after we did it, the mortgage jumped up a few more $100, right? So I was talking to the bank and we was trying to get it back down. No, you have to do this, you have to do that, and all this. So that went on for like 4 years.
Yep.
Right? But I'm gonna give a shout out to Quicken Loans, right? Because I hooked up with them and everything. I don't even want to say the bank name that hold that mortgage. Was saying they couldn't do. They did it, saved us a lot of money. So I know they be ripping people off out there. So I've been with them ever since. So a lot of people don't even really want to be bothered with it because there's so many lies and everybody about the money. But once you find somebody that's working good, like I say,
you have to be careful with those as well because you see the commercials and you'll call the number, but it could actually be a service that's selling your information to a multiple of
entities
of companies that do loans, and then you have your credit is being pulled because you have to put in the information. You could do it online, so it could go to 15, 20 banking institutions.
And after we did that, the bank that we was with sending us letters. We could do this, and we try to stop it.
After they've
I should have said their name, but I ain't.
No. Around what time was that? Around like what year would that have been? When you did the refinance, or were you trying to get it done and everything?
Oh, when I was first trying to get it done, this was probably like about 8 years ago.
About 8. That's right, and around the time the
housing
housing
market. And I really never heard about Quicken Loan, and when we did that, we found out about them. But after we got with them a couple of years, now it's like they real popular now. But when we got with them, they wasn't that popular. But
it's like like one of them companies you're like, oh no, you're skeptical of because they kept seeing their commercials, and like you said, a lot of them have these commercials.
Truth is in the pudding, though. I've been with them ever since, and like I said, I just every month, boom.
And we have to become people of the finer details. We have to read the fine print, and you have to take your time. Don't let anyone rush you. And you can pull that stuff online, but you have to read that and highlight it, ask any questions, seek to understand, because if anything happens, they'll refer you back to the fine print and that they had the right to do such and such and such. So we have to start reading the fine print. If you can't read, find someone that can.
Yeah, definitely.
Or just like my mom, she has plenty of those
magnifying glasses. Because it's not even fine print. It's like minuscule print.
Yes, you really have to read. Just like that little fine print on the commercials when they be telling you the side effects of those new medications they be trying to sell you. I mean, they make the name of the medicine big as day, but the fine print of the side effects is real so little. You have to what is they really selling me? So same thing, folks. You just have to pay closer attention, and you also have to just be aware of these things when you're trying to revamp your credit and try to get yourself prepared and bouncing back. I hope you heard some of the things that they said, and that you will be on not the 5th, but we'll be back on I think that will be the 12th. We'll be back the 12th of May with the continuous bounce back. And if you have any questions, remember that number is 240-258-7660. If you have any questions, and that's Marcus Sharp of Arterial Homes and Loans, and Vanita Adams with Exit Landmark Realties. So they'll be back here on the 12th when I'll be back. So we'll always be back for the same update and on the credit and more intel details and another process of this, because that's what this is. It's a process teaching step where you're getting information on how you can help yourself or help someone else that is probably into this process. And like I said last Saturday when they weren't here, get those plans together. Give yourself, like he said, and like you heard Brother Lawrence said, it took him from one company, took him 4 years later. So you have time. Everybody know there's a slow period in their finances. Find that slow period in your finances. I say most of the time, like during the winter, after you know what you can spend, what you can spend for the holidays. After all that is done, that budget is done for the holidays. Because normally people have a budget for the holidays from Thanksgiving all the way up till the New Year when you filing your taxes. So find that slow period when you have that in your finances. Start planning during that slow period. That when you can put that money away, because you know during that slow period, you know you don't have too much expenses, and sometimes it's either before, right after the kids, either before the kids go back to school or after the holidays. That's when I think it's mostly good for people to file those little grace periods throughout the year to put in a plan. And like I say, start out with taking a year to save just $500 in 1 year. See if you can save $500. Get a $500 in 1 year plan. And if you can save $500, while you're saving that $500, like I told you as well, while you're saving that $500 in that 12-month span, you also get the plan out of list of all your creditors and debts, or who you owe, and get all that list together during this year while you saved up that $500. I'm not trying to overwhelm you, because like I said, everybody has this slow period. Pick your slow period. Everybody know their finances in their household, so pick your slow period. Get that plan. It's all part of prepping for the process. And I'm even doing that now before the year gets away from me. Here we are already enter the 5th month already within this year. So if you're like me, I'm one of the late starters. I got a bag of receipts that I've been collecting since January. But I'm going to get them in order. I'm going to get them in order because I said this year I want to be a little bit more in order throughout the year instead of waiting till the end of the year trying to get that big old bag of receipts. I've been throwing receipts in all year together at the end of the year, so I want to try to do a little better, do it monthly. Instead of doing it yearly, I want to do it monthly now. You know. And
that's a really good idea because, you know, the ink on those receipts fades. And I like your idea about the list and doing the savings. And so on that list, we need to add ourselves, and add your church if you're tithing. But if we add ourselves, and that could be the savings or the emergency, just like you said. So we need to put ourselves on that list, actually at the top of the list, and everything.
You hear that, folks? You got to put yourself at the top of that list, like you're the saving person.
So. And I want to just say this, because Marcus and I talked about it a couple of times. It is... once you become mortgage ready, or while you're in the process, just be mindful of the type of car or the car note you go and get, because it can make a difference. So I always ask my clients to talk to the money guy, the lender, and see if that amount is going to be good. Because it's not just, you have to add on not just the amount of the car, the insurance, the upkeep, and things like that. And it can change your ability to be mortgage ready very quickly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so you're saying like so if you're saying it's either the price of the car or you're saying the interest rate on the loan. Which one? All of that factor in together.
So if you're preparing to buy a home, it might not be a good idea to get a car note, because now you're, I'm ready, I'm clear, my credit's clear, Marcus helped me, Vanita helped me, I'm mortgage ready. So, you know what, this might be taking a little longer. I want a new car. Yep. And then you go and you get a car for $700 a month. And
sunk it down and go your credit.
And then, at first Marcus said, okay, you approved for $500,000, then you find this house and he's like, nope, you can only afford $300,000 now. And I'm just saying hypothetical numbers, but he can talk in real. Yeah. But that $700 car note has essentially, in my example, bumped you down $200,000.
Right.
And it can be very hurtful.
Yeah. Right. That's why you have to pace yourself in what you purchase, folks, and time yourself. Time management in purchasing. You know, you have to know when to purchase and when not to purchase. Like, you know, our boy Kenny Rice, know when to hold them, know when to fold them. You got to know these things, you know, when you get out here and dealing with your finances, you know, because it could be a tricky thing. You think you're doing a good thing. Oh, this will help my credit look good, but it could hurt you because they're going to have to run it. Not only the dealership is going to have to run it, then they're going to have to get a bank to come behind them and run it again. And it's going to have to keep getting ran until they get somebody to finance that car for you. So, like she said, you started out with maybe a 7-something. By the time you leave that dealership, you just sat there all day for about 6-7 hours, because I've done it. They can keep you there and won't feed you and keep offering you water and coffee. Who wants that? You know, I'm like, nah,
like
when you go, yeah. And like they keep going, say, we're gonna try one more bank. We just that one wouldn't go through for that numbers. And I mean, it's crazy. But and that whole time you sit, like I said, you started at 7 when you walked in the door. By the time you leave 4 or 5 hours later, you're down, like she said, 200-300 points.
And being able to get your mortgage.
And being able to get that house that you done already put in the paperwork for. You know, so you're playing like. You're unbalancing your own scale. So you got to be careful, folks. And like you said, the key factors for today, bounce back, was the bankruptcy, the foreclosures, and the short sale. Don't be scared to step outside the box if you have encountered those, because it's still light at the end of those dark clouds. So it's just a temporary thing. It can be dealt with. Just like anything in this world, it can be dealt with. So, and also remember that number before we get back here on the 12th. It is 240-258-7660. If you have any Q&A for Marcus or Vanita, they will be happy to take those questions and give you your answers, or maybe give you a little way you can start planning your process so you can bounce back. So.
Yeah, we're definitely looking for folks that are ready to rebuild their credit, become mortgage ready. So yes, call that number. If you have any questions, we'll bring the questions back here, answer as well, but bring them back here. But we're also looking for at least 50 folks that are ready to and serious to begin the process.
And on the 12th, we'll have these lines ready for you guys to take serious intake of your credit towards being a home buyer, or just ready to just clear yourself up so you can just brush yourself off and be just dance in front of the people that want you to buy their stuff, and you say, nah, not today, I'm saving my credit for something else. Marcus, you have anything to say to the viewers before we go?
Actually, I did want we were talking about saving. One of the other things I like to add in there is seeing the extra stuff that you spend money on that is kind of like that you can actually cut out of your budget. I noticed it for myself. I know I did this recently where I was doing a lot of fast food. And I went to the store, I bought food, just bought food from the store. I mean, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but the amount of money I actually saved was insane. Like, I was like, man, I only spent like this much this week. Usually I would have spent this much. But just little things that you can find in your budget that you spend money on that you can cut out just a little bit here, a little bit there. It'll add up in the end, and that'll really help you to save.
Yes, it
does. Learn how to cook, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I still don't know how to cook, but I got.
You got better, groceries. Right? Yeah, even if it was pre-cooked, you cooked, huh? So you get.
It's a little thing about saving money. What I do is, at the end of the day, when I come in the house, I always throw my change.
Me too.
Yeah, and so.
And just get a jar.
Getting so much, so I just start separating the quarters from the dimes and the nickels and the pennies, right? And as time went on, one Saturday I was just home doing that, and I said, let me count this. I almost had like $300 worth of, you know what I'm saying?
Change, just coming home, just dump it in there.
Yeah, just put it in there, and so because you don't pay attention to that, and it gets real heavy, especially as women. That change adds up and makes a heavy book pocket. I'm heavy, so I cleaned all the change out of mine before I came in here.
Okay.
So that was what you wanted to say on that, Brother Lawrence, about the change saving. Yeah, see, folks, everybody has all kinds of ideas. Go ahead.
And if people do that, it could probably end up, like you say, paying off one of your bills, and you don't notice it. You know, you think about it.
It could add up.
Use it, just give us a call. We're ready to get started and help people. This is our mission. Whether you want to buy a home for yourself or buy investment properties, just call that number, 240-258-7660, and just start the conversation with us.
And they'll be glad to help you. No problem. Thank you guys for coming back. They'll be back on the 12th. We're going to get into a little music break for you before we get into the next segment with Brother Lawrence. He got some information for you, just a little bit. He wanted to just update you on. And I'm going to come back to you at the end for the word on the street, health, entertainment, music, fashion, and the community. Don't sleep. We'll be right back.
Awesome.
You like?
Yeah.
The 18. Gangsta Chronicles, baby. Take my mic. I'm taking it right back, baby, with this one. Hey, they hold on with this one, baby. Take my mic. When the Nationals was here the first time. Take my mic. 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 Take. Tony Turn, take my mic. DJ Rico, wait a minute. KO Productions, we putting it down, baby. Sing it to him right here, Tony.
I got a feeling I can't ignore. Girl, I've never been known so sure. Needing you more and more. Gonna show you what I have in store. Tricks and games that I wanna play. Just tell me that you're on your way. Cause I can't wait another day. And I know you wanna play. Girl, I know the spots that'll make you hot. Baby, ready or not, you know. Girl, I know the place. It's been in the face. Tell me that you're on your way. Tell me that you're on your way. Yeah. Baby, don't be too late. Got a freaking little get too late. I'm needing you tonight. Tell me that you wanna stay. I got a game that you should play. Baby, don't you be afraid. I'm needing you tonight. Girl, I'm so glad that you came. Not afraid to play my game. Promise it won't be a shame. That I'm down with the freaking things you do to me, and I'll do to you. Yeah. And it makes me feel so good. Girl, I know the spots that'll make you hot. Baby, ready or not, you know. Girl, I know the place. It's been in the place. Tell me that you're on your way. Tell me that you're on your way. Baby, don't be too late. Got a freaking little thing to play. I'm needing you tonight. Tell me that you wanna stay. Tell me I got a game that we should play.
Tony T right now, man. Everybody, come on and just clap your hands, everybody. Clap your hands, everybody. Come on. You know why? Oh, he's back. Tony Turn back. Everybody, come on. Get your hands up. Put your hands up. Then get your hands up. Put your hands up. Then get your hands up. Put your hands up. Get your hands up. Get 'em up. Get 'em up now. Hey,
I hope you're on your way to me. Got a freaking little game to play. I got a game we should play. Tell me that you wanna stay. Got a game that we should play. Don't be afraid. I need you. Gotta make you hot. Tell me that you on your way. Got a freaking little game to play. Tell me that you're on your way. Tell me that you wanna stay. Got a game that we should play. Don't you be afraid. Tell me that you're on your way. Won't you get next to me? Won't you be my man? Need you here right next to me. Won't you be my fantasy? I love you, baby. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. up on your haters 'cause I came to rock. Be up in the club. These niggas ain't showing me no love. And the bitches ain't know what I got. I'm about to switch the game up on your haters 'cause I came to rock.
It's the baddest shit, rockin' on the scene. I make you holler, make you shiver and scream. My rhymes flow like you had a wet dream. So throw your hands up if you know what I mean. 'Cause I be up in the club, niggas don't show me love. Bitches hating on what I got. Even though I'm short, sweet, and sexy, boy, don't get it confused. 'Cause I rock with my soldiers, nigga, how about you?
Be up in the club. These niggas ain't showing me no love. And the bitches ain't know what I got. I'm about to switch the game up on your haters 'cause I came to rock. Be up in the club. These niggas ain't showing me no love. And the bitches ain't know what I got. I'm about to switch the game up on your haters 'cause I came to rock.
You don't know who the hell I be, the hell I be. I start the freestyle, say I be. What I do, cats in this Bentley wagon. The key cats act, they broke below the minute.
Be up in the club, niggas don't show me love. Bitches hating on what I got. Even though I'm short, sweet, and sexy, boy, don't get it confused. 'Cause I rock with my soldiers, nigga, how about you? Felicia Reed's in the place to be. Player haters can't mess with me. Southeast, northeast, uptown. My man Jew, he be holding it down. Boston Ice Cube, you know how we do. Them fakes again ain't seeing my crew. Ha, we came to party, hurting nobody. Sipping on Bacardi, shaking that body.
Up in the club. These niggas ain't showing me no love. And the bitches ain't know what I got. I'm about to switch the game up on your haters 'cause I came to rock. Be up in the club. These niggas ain't showing me no love. And the bitches ain't know what I got. I'm about to switch the game up on your haters 'cause I came to rock.
I step in the club like I'm on a control. Hopped out the heavy Chevy on love. Peeped out the scene to see just what's poppin'. Niggas bucking their bitch 'cause they know who rockin'. Yeah, me so hot I can take all of my clothes off. I be the chick reppin' the city and it's over. So all y'all haters go to the back and just breathe. To all you suckers and you players who ain't ready for me.
In the club. These niggas ain't showing me no love. And the bitches ain't know what I got. I'm about to switch the game up on your haters 'cause I came to rock. Be up in the club. These niggas ain't showing me no love. And the bitches ain't know what I got.
I know you love it, baby. Yeah, Slim. What's his name? Young J. O.C. What's his name? What's his name? What's his name? Hey, I'm on my daily, baby. I know you love it, baby. Yeah, Slim. What's his name? Young J. O.C. What's his name? 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 What's his name?
Just stepped out, fresh out the shower. Gotta stay fresh, take about an hour. Gotta get dressed, your boy's so clean. Both of them on, I got them blue jeans. Fresh pair of shades, house on my wrist. Sock to the drawers, your boy stay fit. I'm ready. Can nobody tell me nothing. Woo. Feels like I'm taking off, I'm so high. So high, baby. For a shawty to break me out.
Need yellow and red on. Yep. Alrighty, welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned on your phone, on your laptop, or your hard desktops. I appreciate you not sleep. Now we're back after Vanita and Marcus. They came in and gave you that bounce back credit prep talk. Like I said, they'll be back on the 12th. Now we with Brother Lawrence with his seconds of his enlightening moment. That's what we're going to start calling the Brother Lawrence enlightening moment. So, and this is what he brought to you today. It's called a vision board. A lot of people do their vision boards differently, but this is his private way of how he did it. Just to give you some idea of what a vision board is and what it's supposed to represent for you. Go ahead, Brother Lawrence.
Okay, I have many vision boards, throughout my life. This is the last one I'm working on. Not the last one, but this is the one I'm working on right now. Like you said, a vision board is just some stuff that you can see tangibly what you want to bring into your life.
You want to start from the left to the? We go from the left to the
Okay,
right.
you can start.
Okay,
man.
Paris, and this is on your vision board. Why?
Okay, Paris is a place that I want to visit one day. I never been there, and some years back, before even Paris, I always wanted to go to Florida, and and I was like, one day I'm gonna go to Florida, and no opportunities will come up. People wouldn't want to go, and I was like, I want to go to Florida. So that's when I heard about the vision board. So I put a picture of Florida up there, the name and everything, and so I was talking to one of my friends, like, I don't know, about a month later, and he was going out of town. I was like, I used to work with him. He said, I'm going down to Florida. You want to go? I was like, I always wanted to go to Florida. And he was like, man, you can come with me. I got people down there. You don't have to stay in a hotel. We can, we can ride down. We can catch the plane. And I said, let me think about it. And I was like, I wanted to go to Florida. Now, an opportunity right here.
Right.
So I ended up going to Florida. We stayed like a week, came back, and it was great. So I've been to Florida like 3 times since that. But that was a big thing for me at the time.
So
now I got Paris up there. And I know it's going to happen.
This picture right here?
That's a picture of me because it's my vision board. What does it say under there? I can't see.
It says Lawrence McCrae Sr. will stay on positive vibration in 2017. Eat healthy, meditate, and exercise, and get plenty of rest. Okay, yeah, that's something I wrote down because that was some things I wanted to do. And because people can get you off of your vibe if you let them. So that was something. Yeah, and I would read that in the morning. Or at night, or sometimes whenever I look at the board, because I made it pretty to look at. I wanted the bright colors. That's why I had it yellow. And that's just so angelic how you caught that.
Oh, yeah, I was walking, and I just took a selfie. And I looked at the selfie, and, I see my oil was indigo.
Look, I know it. Purple and green.
Yep, and it like that wings on it, right?
Yep.
And I was like, them like furry, so, and, the left brain like, nah. But the right brain, is magical.
You know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so.
You're on point.
Like when we was, like I said earlier, that other segment, that's the left brain. You got to get your bills. You got to do this on point, this and that. But now we on the right side. This right side brain thinking. We can get a house, trip, cars, all that without all that. You just got to believe it.
And this one here says, I would never compromise my peace or allow anyone to alter my energy.
Okay.
And it's a picture, if you can't really see it, viewers, it's a picture of a woman meditating in the middle of, you can see her aura is golden yellow.
I'll hold it up later after
Okay.
we get finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain that one.
Yeah, like I said, I meditate every day. And that was just another thing. Like, you can have a vision board and you can put all these houses, cars, bikes, trips. But really, we also have to do eternal work, And if you know you're kind of person that quick to jump the gun or let people get to you, that was some things I had to work on. So by me reading this and seeing this, that helps because I'm speaking it out into existence.
Right.
And by me speaking it, by me having the board, when I'm out in life doing what I do,
you can visually see it because you have it present in front of you every day.
So that helps out a lot.
Right. And the next one is another figure of meditation with sound waves. It says, God is a frequency that exists within you. Tune in.
Yeah, I got that out of the book. I like that one because, like I said, everybody talking about God, thinking God is out here watching you. God is a frequency. That's what it said. So if you, and it said tune in. If you out here killing or just doing low vibrational stuff, right, God is not into that. People can say, well, God isn't, the higher you come up on your frequency, if you're doing angelic stuff or you're just doing helping people, you vibing higher. So that's when, spirit, good things basically is going to come to you. Like, I'm going to try to put it this way. If you're going out to a club and you partying, right, and you drinking alcohol and you doing all this, you wouldn't expect to go in that club and find a priest or a preacher, you know, even though they might be there. I don't know. But
Well,
you
why
wouldn't,
would they be there, right?
But you wouldn't expect that, right?
Right.
You go in a church and they praising God or singing hymns and stuff. That's a high frequency, high vibration. Because when you're doing lower things, it's like you moving slower. But when you high frequency, you know, they clap and that, it's like energy, energetic. So anyway, it's a frequency. You can be on a low frequency or a high frequency. It's like a pole. It's all, we got a choice. It's a free will universe. So that's why I put that one there to remind myself.
The frequency is within you. The next one is another figure of a Buddha meditating lady with the Buddhist flower. Also, it says happiness is a choice, not a result. Nothing will make you happy until you choose to be happy. No person will make you happy unless you decide to be happy. Your happiness will not come to you. It can only come from you.
Yeah, and I put that there because, you know, that's the truth. And it's funny, I was on YouTube one day and I seen Will Smith was saying that, you know, he said something like, you know, he used to come home and he'd be upset or whatever. And he basically waiting for his wife to change his mood and make him feel better. But it shouldn't be like that, you know, like what they said.
You have the power within yourself to change it in yourself.
To change yourself, you know.
Right.
You know, we shouldn't look for other people to make us happy. You know?
Right, we can do it within ourselves.
Yeah.
Just like you heard Yolanda said in her gospel song, we can pray over ourselves, we can anoint ourselves, we can praise victory for ourselves. You don't have to go out, you know, you can do all this yourself. We got the power and the being of ourselves to do all these things. And you have this one right here that says surround yourself with people who get it.
Yeah, that's the best thing you can do. It's like self-explanatory. Surround yourself with people like is on the same wave you on, you know, so you can stay on that wave and even go higher, because that's what it's about. Because the higher that you vibrate, the more you will bring stuff in to your life. And we all here to enjoy life. We're not put here to be suffering and be low poverty. And that's, you know, when you get hooked up in the matrix, you know, that's what they say. You got to have credit to get this, or you got to do this to get that, when all the time is a game. Like, say, for instance, when they was talking about buy a home, some people would look at buying a home as being a trap to the matrix, because if you go out, you're just coming out of high school, right, and you go and you sign like a book of papers because you're buying a home. That's a contract, right? And the first word in contract is con. So it's a con in there, you can believe that. And one of the cons is, shouldn't take 30 years to buy a house. But that's what it takes.
Right.
And most people don't have that kind of money to pay for it up front. So guess what? For 30 years, you're going to be getting up, going to work, playing this game of the matrix to keep that house. So they got you right there for the next 30 years, you know, unless you lose the house. So just be careful what you ask for or what you want. But if you use the right side, you don't have to worry about that. You would get that house and some more houses, you know, and a way to have it paid for, it could be paid for. You know, I mean, it's not nothing you doing. It's just you putting that attention. You putting that thought and you meditating and you making it happen. So everything that I ever had on my vision board, it came true. You know, that's why, you know, I keep doing it. And you got to be realistic. You can't say, I want a Lamborghini, right? And you still live at home with mom.
Right, you got to make the steps to get to, like God, they say, nothing beats a failure but a try.
Yeah, but you
have to put forth an effort before you can make anything possible.
And then when you get this stuff, you want to be able to keep it.
Right.
So that's that. So.
And then you have the picture of your Range Rover, and then you have the picture of your home where it says, Lawrence McCrae Sr. will become a well-known home decorator, designer, and travel the world decorating homes. Bam.
Yeah. I like that. I like.
That's your incentive that you put on your vision board.
Yeah, I like that, because this picture of my home, it was like when I moved there, it looked nothing like that, and that's just something I brought out of my mind. What I seen, like I say, in that dark matter, and it's here. You know, And
you brought it to light.
yeah, and I also help other people to design their homes. And I was like sitting back one day, and I was like, man, it'd be nice just to be able to do that, because people actually does that for a living.
Yes, they
And
do.
get
They
paid
pay
well.
very well.
You know what I'm saying? So I
Very
put that
well.
up there. I spoke that into existence. So I already know it's going to happen. It's just, you know, I got to pay attention to the synchronicities when they come. Because if they come and I'm so busy doing this and I don't pay attention to the synchronicities, you can lose that.
Right.
You know, like example, like I might be saying I'm a DJ this, right? And somebody might say, can you paint my house? Can you paint my room? I need somebody help. I said, all right, I'll do that. But I'm thinking that's a whole lot of work. I don't really want to do it. And I'm over here DJing. But I just put on the board that I want to do that. So I had to fall back from that and say, hey, she asked me to do this, because you never know what could come from that.
Correct.
But that's the area I wanted to go. So you just got to pay attention to that, you know.
So this is Brother Lawrence's vision board, his personalized vision board for his vision. And he catered it to everything. Like you see, he started from where he did it before, and he started again a new one, because he already accomplished that.
Yeah,
so
and it
now,
actually started like this.
oh, okay.
This will, in turn, actually will be like if you lay in the bed at night and you just stand resting, your eyes closed, you see nothing but darkness. They call that dark matter. Same thing I'm doing on this board. You can meditate in that dark matter and bring stuff to fruition. This is just something that we're using for visual.
Right. So
You
it
know.
started like this, blank, nothing, and then all of a sudden,
Boom.
bam! All this came into
And I
his
got the
vision.
stars on there. I threw the stars on there, make it look good. When you wish upon a star, your dreams will take you very far. That's a true statement. All this is basically just like right side thinking of the brain.
And like I was just explaining to Brother Lawrence too, like the show Mary Jane. You see how she put all those Post-it notes around, telling herself, reminding herself how strong she is, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna win this case,
Affirmation, all
and
that.
stuff. Yeah, it'd be all over her bathroom, it'd be all over her kitchen. You
And
know,
she speaks it. And like when you said something earlier, you said about your play, and you say like the little sawdust was turning to the gold.
it started out like a speck of dust, but now it's starting to
Turning
glitter,
gold.
and it's
Yeah.
turning to gold.
So with everything, that whole statement, she probably didn't know what she was saying, but to me, that's alchemy, that's magic. You see what I'm saying? And you spoke it. So it's happening, you know. And like you say, it starts sawdust. They say dust. You know, how you see the ladies sprinkling.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I pay attention to a lot of stuff people say out of their mouth, because a lot of things they shouldn't be saying, but you can't tell people
It's
to
harmful,
say.
right?
Yeah, so, yeah, when you said that statement, I just laughed to myself. And, yeah,
And that's
so.
but I don't. It's
Just
about
like
put out there
Tyler,
in the
look,
universe. It can come.
Tyler Perry said he had his first play, right? Ain't nobody had nothing to do with it, right? So one church let him do it, a little small church, whatever. He did the play, and it was a success. But he could have just quit, threw away his dream, right? But he stuck with it. Look where he at today.
Because somebody
he's-
has sat in that audience,
Yeah, and he started out like a little
saw
dust.
his potential.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you don't just want to be there. You want to be able to get there and
And
enjoy the
process.
journey. You
yeah,
understand
the
what I'm
journey
saying?
and the process. Yep.
So-
and this is all this is. Like you speak good things into existence, and try to be more focused on what not to say out of your mouth, because people, I'm telling you,
The words are spells.
yes, they are. Yes, they are.
That's why we have
That's why
spelling
you
tests.
heard the old folks back in the day used to say something about the tongue is a two-headed sword.
Let me show you real quick. This is basically what it looked like. You said.
That's what it looked like, folks. A vision board. You can make your own. Don't take much. Don't take an artist. You can create your own. Like I said, you can write notes to yourself, Post-it notes, like the girl on Mary Jane. Like she writes, "You strong, you beautiful, you can win this case." I mean, it's different ways to put in your incentives, your visions. It's different ways of communicating with yourself of what you want to be as a higher being, as a person. You can create all these things within yourself. Just
Yeah.
like you heard him, Red said, you don't need anyone to make you happy. You can make yourself happy. Just like you hear the saying that you can't see, and all these things are reflected back to yourself being. Just like you can't love no one else. if you don't love yourself.
Yep.
See, all these things reflect back to yourself. Everything he was just saying, you have to take self-inventory first before you go outside. So,
and they say life is a projection. What you project out, you know, is what comes back. So, like, anything that you want to do, life just don't happen. It's like a reaction. You know, every action is a reaction, right? So whatever you do, something is coming back. So if you want something out of life, you got to push forward to it. If you don't, it's not just going to fall out of the sky.
No, you have to put forth an effort. You know, you have to give it some type of, form. You have to build it to something. Because just like God had to build, or the universe had to be built, everything has a process to build up to.
Yep.
Like it says the signs where we're going over last week. The beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. Everything has a beginning, everything has the end. So there you go, folks. You have the gravity. Then you have the, once you hit, what's that?
Gravity.
That's gravity in its force form. Yeah. You know, you can be lifted up and float, or you can be just let go and just free fall, right? Yeah. So, I mean, you have to look at things in all types of matter, frequency. Like he said, it's not just by the eye anymore, folks. We got to start getting a little bit more deeper and understanding and being aware of what's going around us, and even in our spiritual uplifting, even in your everyday living, you just got to be a little bit more in tune.
Yeah, that's
you know,
in tune.
You got to be a little bit more in tune, and it helps because I'm telling you. Until the universe, God made this connection with my brothers and my sisters in this journey that I've just started. I'm telling you, things is just.
And now that we got like energy hitting the earth and everything, like you gotta have faith.
It's like unexplainable things are happening. It's like I sat here and just prophesied dust turning into gold.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't able to speak like this before. You know, before I didn't have it, when I was not knowledgeable. Right. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't able to talk like this before, and now I'm talking a whole different language now.
Yeah.
I'm communicating with different people that on levels that I never thought I would be able to communicate with people on. So it's an eye-awakening situation, folks.
And all this information, basically, they don't want you to know this information, because once you know this information, you don't need their system. Right now, we keep their system, which is called the Matrix, but the Matrix is gonna crack.
And it's like you're working on you're a manual piece, you know. So we got to get off the grid. And in other words, that's how they say get off the grid.
Yeah.
Don't be on manual. Yeah, you got to get off that grid so they can't compute us and be able to track us. Yeah. So we got to get off that grid and get into our own.
And we'll get into, like, when we come back, like collecting rainwater is against the law. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, you can go to jail for that. It was just this soldier.
But they used to do it all the time to save, because they used to get on you about watering your grass and your plants
but now,
certain days and weeks of the month.
Yeah, it's against the law now. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on that we don't know about. But it was just soldier.
There's something in the rainwater.
It's just soldier, right?
Mm-hmm.
He served time and everything. He came out. His father gave him a home. Home was paid for, but he was like, "I'm gonna live off the grid," you know. And he had this big tub, and he was collecting rainwater.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he had like homemade lights. I don't know how he lighted his house, but they told him that he couldn't collect. They was trying to get him on something, and by him being an ex-soldier, they gave him like 3 or 4 warnings, and he didn't heed to what they were saying. They arrested him
for collecting the rainwater,
like they own the water.
I remember back in the day, right? But you know what? And I still believe that to a certain degree. Remember back in the day, you see people, damn, man, lights so high, they're going to start charging you for air. You remember how the brothers used to breathe?
Even that. Remember they said that one day you're going to have to pay for water?
Yep.
Paying for water. But the thing is, they make it so the water that you get out of the faucet, you don't want to put in your body.
Nope, because there's so many chemicals and treatments that they use to clean it.
I was down the wharf, and they had the soda machine, and they had the water machine. The sodas was $1, the waters were $2.
What sense that make? So they rather for you to drink something unhealthy for $1 than something healthy for $2. That's just like the organic food. At first, when they kept coming out with the organic food, it used to be cheap.
Yep.
Now, you can't eat healthy if you tried. You would die trying to eat healthy, buying organic lettuce and your budget can't afford that stuff.
But what we gonna do? We gonna break that, and we can do whatever we want to do. You know, remember we talked about words earlier, so we gotta watch what we say.
You can break that. That's right.
Yeah,
so your vision boards and putting your incentives in. I went and got my candles. I went to the botanical store out on University Boulevard.
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
I went and got my red, my black, Run Devil Run. I got that one.
Okay.
I got Shut Up, the red one.
Okay.
To keep people out of my business and stop trying to tell me what to do and how to do it.
Okay.
I got the all multicolor one, and I got the all green one, money one.
Okay.
And and I struck them. I burnt them at the same time. I was making sure the clock was either going east or west or north to south when I lit them all up at the same time.
Okay, so you're putting everything in the work.
Yep.
Okay,
So so I'm telling you, people, you got to get yourself together because it's a spiritual warfare. And I know you've been hearing your grannies, your nannies, all them church folks in your family been saying this for years. Child, I'm telling you, the devil out there gonna get you if you don't be careful. And they are not kidding. It's not just the devil. It's all types of sorcerers and sorceries and warlocks and witches and all types of people. Yeah. So my son tricked me. Well, he ain't tricked me, but I needed something. We were out walking, getting his car repaired, and at the Botanic. So I thought I was buying a walking stick, but before I left out of there, it has a picture. On the walking stick is the circle at the top when you hold it. Okay. Then it's the elephant. The circle is on top of the elephant back. Then it has two gazelles like that, holding the elephant up. Yeah, and at the bottom of it is the stick. It's wood, made out of natural wood. So I asked the brother, so can I use this as a cane or what have you, whatever. So the guy in the shop, because they sell everything in there for whatever you believe. Whatever your belief is, they sell it in there for you. So I asked him, I said, so what is this, what would you use this for? He said, well, in my heritage, we use it to call up the ancestors to help us with a situation or something that's going on. Mm-hmm. So I was telling my son, so I said, all the way from Hyattsville, Maryland, till I got in D.C. and Northeast, when I was using that stick, I wonder was I, conjuring it up or talking to some ancestor.
I had one of those sticks, and that circle is a portal. So it's like I said, faith. It's what you believe, and that goes all the way back to Africa. That didn't just start.
No, that's a very eccentric, ancient decor.
And some people say that's like a wand to a certain extent. And mine, I got to the point I even drilled little holes in it and placed certain crystals in it. You feel what I'm saying? One day when I was doing a ritual on a full moon, it was windy. It was in the wintertime. And the fire kept going out. So why I go and get my cane, right, my wand, and when I lit it, that don't say woof. Like, you know how you take some kerosene and and it didn't go out. So that was the universe. That was just like, something showing me that,
And I had that same experience.
But you still have it?
No, I had the same. Oh yeah, we just bought it. What was that? Thursday.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get the correct name. I'm gonna let you Google it. You can read up on it. All right?
Okay, I'm gonna take a picture and send it to you of what I bought.
Yeah, I have one.
And the stick I bought.
Yeah.
I'll be watching a lot of martial arts, and maybe this one martial arts movie. It was dated back in the Dynasty. This one guy, he had a cane, and when he tapped the ground, a spirit of the land came out the ground and talked to him, and told him that he was a descendant of the gods from the dragons and all that. The 5 dragons in China. So
okay, that's what's up.
So that walking stick goes a long way.
It's a lot of history. It's a lot of history.
And that's what they, like I say, when I keep saying they, I'm talking about the people that run this matrix. They don't want you to know these things, and they got you thinking so bad that it's hocus pocus. It's don't, you know what I'm saying? That it really don't exist. But right there, you sitting in front of that TV, so much magic and stuff going on, you being programmed and to think the way you think. It's crazy. So
And we would like to get Mr. Shimmy Gimme on this discussion to sit over here because he's deep and researchable, just like Brother Lawrence.
And you guys can see that. A lot of years,
right?
You know, now I'm
not just the old people, older people. We got younger people that's waking too.
My granddaughter, she came here woke. And when you come here, your pineal gland is not classified. It's open, the chakras and all that. As we get older, that's what makes it worse and harder for older people. Because we've been brainwashed so many years, you know.
Still trying to decipher what is right and what is wrong, what is written by man, or what we taking and researching and try on.
And then you can look at the movies like Roots, when they was running in the woods, and they look back, and their ancestors, that spirit, we say, don't go this way, go that way. You know, wasn't some God up in the sky. It was ancestors.
Not laughing, but we just watched Dog, the Bounty Hunter.
Okay.
You know how he wear all that ancestor stuff because you know he's into. I don't know what he into, but Dog is into that. Okay. So when he was running behind this guy that there was running after the chaser for the bounty, he was following the guy footprints. Said, "No, come on, lead me, lead me." Okay. And every time he went one way, he saw the footprint. And he was talking to the universe, and the universe was leading him. I'm like, is that why they called him the dog for real, the bounty hunter? Yeah. Because he was officially calling this guy, calling out to be led to follow this guy.
Yeah. So let me say this, because I know you got to get to your other part of the set. It's like this. It's a shift. The energy is here. When they say we was going to go to a foreign land and be slave for, 400 years, or was it 500? That time is up. But it's up to you. You can stay brainwashed, or you can start tapping into this knowledge that we kicking out here. We not just sitting here saying this just to be saying it. And like I said,
it's a purpose and a reason for everything.
And you can, like I say, if you go on YouTube, a lot of their stuff is just falling apart. They trying to do what they can to keep it intact. But without us, you know, they don't have anything. So I'm gonna close on that note.
Right.
You know,
all right, so that's right. So we're going to be awakening from the brainwashing of the matrix. And it's going to be a continuous lesson. We're going to come off the grid. We're going to get untapped from the manualness. So we're going to come off the grid and start coming off into the all-seeing and knowing our own. So, and Brother Lawrence will be back next week with some, not next week, on the 12th, with some more update on the enlightening moments with you, with Brother Lawrence. And to get into the last segment of the last few minutes of the show, I'm glad you still staying tuned and you didn't sleep. You still stayed here with us after Vanetta and Marcus had gave you the bounce back info on bankruptcy, foreclosure, and short sales. And for my word on the street, in my health, I have this week that I done a research and it came across my database that you guys that don't use the natural sugarcane sugar or the sugar, the phosphated sugar that they put in the store and they call it sugar to taste so good. Yes, I'm a victim of it because I still use it too. But those of you that are diabetes and or on diets and you're trying to find alternative sugar sweeteners, let me school you. Those alternative sweeteners, I've been researching. Yeah, it's no sugar content in them, but it can add more fat onto you. It can add more fat onto you.
And also cause cancer.
Right.
At least if you use the sugar, sugar is natural.
Right. That's why I said sugar cane.
That stuff they're using is man-made. And when you put anything like that GMO into your body, when it goes to break down, it's look like, what is this? How am I digest it?
Yes.
So
body don't recognize it.
And that's how we sit around, we get fat, and then later on, all that stuff sitting in your system, that's where cancer comes from.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So I'm telling you, they're not good for you. Even though it's don't taste like no sugar in it, the chemicals that they're using to make it don't taste like sugar is not good for you. It still put the fat on you. I researched that. So check those listings and check the numbers on the back of those packages, or just don't use it at all. Just go back to using natural sugar cane drops or the sticks, and you can escape those harmful chemicals. Also, there's been a huge measles outbreak in New York. So within the last month, I'm going to say the last 4 weeks, the last month, if you visit or if you have some family members, please be very warnful because they had a huge outbreak of measles in New York. And they're still trying to, the CDC is still trying to get a cap on it. You know, they claim that we all been treated for it in our childhood immunizations, and I don't understand why, but we understand. We know what's going on. They keep putting it out here trying to test the waters to see how sick of us gonna get sick, but y'all know what's going on. Those who you know. I'm gonna put it like that. So that's that. And also on the it's getting ready to get warm. You know, our little warm season bugs, they carry germs like flies and mosquitoes. You know, they like to bite us and they like to leave stuff behind. Those of you like these insect repellents, please research the one that's for your skin type, because you have to make sure that you could go out and just buy anything off the shelf, think, okay, it's going to keep the bugs off, but then you wake up, you got a rash, about, oh, where this come from, because you did take time. You got to watch the chemicals in that stuff too, people, because it's digesting into our skin. And it can cause, you know, all types of, if you keep using it over a period of time, the buildup of it can cause some type of allergenic effect. You think you protecting yourself from, and you want to know why you sneezing more and all this stuff. The stuff that you think you protecting one situation from could cause another situation to go bad, and that has happened to me. I thought I was using a certain insect repellent for mosquito, and it comes to turn out it wasn't the right chemical mix for my skin, because I had sensitive skin. And it broke me out in hives. And I didn't know what it was. And then come to find out, it was the ingredient from me. It wasn't just the ingredient from the insect repellent. It was the ingredient of my lotion, my soap. All the combination of things together have formed another chemical that irritated my skin. That's why I'm telling you, be careful. Because, see, the compound of things that we put on, we're not knowing. We make it another chemical. When you add these compounds of your sweet smelling oil that you got from the oil man, or because you don't know what he's making his oil out of. That's a compound of a chemical.
Anything you put on your body goes through your pores and get in your system.
That's right. So that's what I'm saying. That's why you see them holding when they be dealing with when they be in the cocaine house. They be having on gloves because it go right through their pores, and the masks go right through their nostrils. You know, they get high and they can be in and mess with the man's stuff. So I'm just telling you. You got to be watching what you put on your skin because it does go down deep within, okay? So be careful about choosing your repellents and stuff like that. Also, those allergy medicines, too. Be sure that your body can withstand them if you're taking other medication. I'm talking about the old schoolers. So be careful mixing those allergies medicines with your medications. That's my health part. In the entertainment and music, I am sick and tired. And Kanye is Kanye, regardless who he follow or what he do. Kanye is just Kanye. You know, this thing with him and Trump. You know, he don't follow him, but he follow him. He don't support him, but he support him. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, another instance what we said last week about the Bernie Sanders and Carter B. A politician wanted to connect on to a person who has followers. Because that'll keep the people attention, mind, and vision on that person.
Can I say something on that? Kanye, he got a new album that's about to come. And he's already in the studio. So my thing is attention. You know what I'm saying?
Album sales. Potential album sales.
Yeah, whenever an artist get ready to drop an album or whatever, they want energy, no matter whether it's bad or good. If they talking
Isn't that
about
terrible, though? You call it what? My son said the background is his temper tantrum.
Yeah, so I think that's what he's doing, you know. And then, you know, all this mind control going on. Like when he spoke out at his concert, you know, I think before he got deep in the game, he was like a true person. And then as he made them deals, signed them contracts.
You said it. My son said it.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, he started talking different.
He got to act a certain way.
Yeah.
But then the old him started coming, kind of like in that movie. Remember Get Out? they spoke a lot of truth in that movie.
But that's what you
know,
see. He talking about he want them to film the part 2 at his new house. Him and Kim
they came and took him away, and they put him in I don't know if it was a crazy house or whatever, but he was gone for a while. You ain't hear nothing from him. So now he's back. You know, I mean, and to me, another thing is all of them is in cahoots together. We think it's the Democrats and the Republicans.
You said it.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, like at Barbara Bush's wedding, wedding, funeral, you know, you see, what's his name? Trump wasn't there, but his wife was there. She kicking it with, you know, all I'm living good, eating fat, you know, in this matrix. So you gotta know how to read between the lines, you know, and make your life better. That's what I do, you know.
You got to.
You ain't, you know.
Yeah, because you can't look at nobody else's situation and make it your own. Because everybody got to live for themselves and live by themselves, one way or another. And to get on to another one, Kim, his wife, Kanye's wife, is not too far behind. Here she goes, making his body cast perfume bottle, a shape of her body, okay, which was done long time ago. Wendy pointed it out. So did TMZ, that it was done by Jean-Claude somebody who made a perfume bottle. Remember, it had the shape of the woman's bottle, top torso. So it's like they're they're trying to say, we don't know, do Kim be trying to go back and revamp stuff, and then they say it's going to be expensive. You know
it's going to be expensive.
It's going to be expensive because it's going to be KKW. That's what it's called, KKW. Kim Kardashian West perfume. So then on another note, this is a good note of the entertainment, other than those egotistical, always want to be in the light of Kanye and Kim life. Those who love it, I just give it to you. But those who don't, there you have it. It's nothing different or nothing new. But there is something streaming for me in the entertainment and music, and I'm very, very happy to see this trend that's starting, and it's with the girl groups. If you noticed, first it was SWV, got back together, reunion back together. Then
702, they already came to the house.
Yes, 702, they came back when Diddy did the Bad Boys reunion.
But they actually supposed to be coming, or I seen it on YouTube, to the High Theater 702. And I'm like,
okay.
702?
See, a lot of this is the line. This is the running of the girls group comeback. Cause now you just heard that Beyonce just added Destiny Child onto her tour.
Oh, okay.
So that was a good way to market their comeback. And of course, Escape is back. And now they got the Escape 3 without Candy, but when Candy is able to tour with Escape, they're back to being Escape. So they done broke 2 groups down out of 1 group.
Right.
So kudos to the girl groups for coming back reviving. I'm glad of that, to see the girl groups coming back. Because all these groups, they have really put in their work, and I believe they all deserve a second chance. You know, when you're very talented, some of these ladies individually are very talented within these groups themselves. Far as writing and creating and singing. So kudos to the girls group comeback. On fashion, as you can see, I was just throwing you a little something that you can put together when you think outside the box. Like you see, I found me an emoji hookup. None of this came together. I did this on my own. And that's what fashion is going to be for this summer, as far as the casual and sportswear. It's going to be whatever makes you comfortable, so you fit in, get in at that picnic or cookout where you can get your eat in. So it's just be comfortable, folks. Don't worry about, like I said, we talked about last Saturday, coordination is out. You can mix whatever. As you can see, I got emojis, I got sparkles, I just got it all going on for you. So don't worry about matching coordinate, because when you don't match, that's when you in fact in fashion. So remember that. And also, they have a certain repellent. So when you're wearing those nice outfits and stuff out there at the cookouts and picnics, you don't have to use the skin-on repellents anymore. They got technology that came up with all kinds of devices that forms energy bubbles of repellent around you and all kinds of things. Now, you can just clip on your clothes, or you can wear it like a little fan, or you can wear it like a band now, or you can just light up in the grass by you like an incense, or you can stick it in the grass. They got all kinds of ways to keep the bug off of you in your immediate area where you are. So when you think about going out to those cookouts, you got to think about that too. Because nobody like going to a cookout or picnic and you can't enjoy it if you're getting attacked by bugs. You know, that's just not an enjoyable moment. So remember that with your fashion as well. And you don't want to put too much of that stuff, spray on stuff, because it will get in the fabrics of your fashion. That's another reason why I was saying those other alternatives, insect repellents. Also, in the community, I have done research came across my table. I have done about, since we were doing about the bounce back credit and home purchasing prep, I had did a study and found out that 83% of Americans between the ages of 25 and 37 are scared of their lives to buy a home. And I found out the reason why. Why? In that age group of 25 and 37, they still have outstanding student school loans. Some of them have accrued credit card debt while they were in school. And you would think at 25, they just getting out of college, right? Mm-hmm. So you would think, why would it take all the way up to 37? They still in the crunch of this debt. You know, and they said it's 83% of this age margin that be still stuck in those reasons for not wanting to go to purchase a home, because they're still trying to pay off the school debts and the credit card debts and other stuff like that. So, but these people, like you heard them, or you heard the brother, you can go either the matrix or you can go the visionable way, the empowering way. So either way, you can set yourself up for success in home buying, wealth, and healthy living, and all of that you've heard here on the show today. Me and Brother Lawrence, thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. Honestly do. I truly do love you for tuning in, just giving us your time on your telephones, on your apps, on your desktops, and on your tablets. We truly appreciate you tuning in and not sleep on your girl and your brother with his enlightening moments, and your girl with the info and our special guest. So tune in on the 12th. We'll be back. Come to the play next week at Bowie Fine Arts Theater and see your girl and giving your parents a standing ovation about the play of Alzheimer's. You will enjoy yourself, and we'll be back with you with more bounce back credit information, more enlightening moments from Brother Lawrence, and more word on your street and info from your lady of 2GO Radio.
How Yeah. Yeah.